This is Morten from Inkish. As you can see, we have just stepped out of the new BOBST experience and demo and training center here in Santa Fe Springs, just part of Los Angeles. And we're going to talk to Rob, who just got a new position. And I just want to say that we moved outside because there's so many people in there for like having 4 different teams, seeing both the machines and learning about BOBST Connect, seeing the factory that is actually part of the BOBST Learning Training Experience Center here. And that is actually something that you will probably be looking a little bit into in the future.
Absolutely.
As well. Good to see you.
Likewise, thank you. Thanks for coming.
I don't know where to start because I mean we didn't know each other just a few minutes ago, but I mean it's an amazing situation because you are just in a few days' time you're moving to Switzerland, right?
Yeah, no, big changes for sure. So I've been with the company a long time. 20 years ago I moved to Switzerland for the company. Learned a lot there, brought that back here. Career's taken me a lot of different avenues, travel the world, fortunately for that. So yeah, my career's brought me through the technical side. I've always stayed on the technical side, always on the service side. So now I have the opportunity to go take a position as tooling director in Switzerland. So yes, in January, moving the family over there. So making the commitment and we're doing it.
Fantastic. I was just, before we talk about your new position, I was just wondering, because since you have lived and worked for a Swiss company, both in Switzerland and in the US, how big difference is it on customers and cultures from the 2 continents?
There are some differences. I mean, I can say that the biggest difference that right off the bat is the actual operation of the machine. I think in Europe, it's
they simply use them differently, or?
Yeah, I think it's more of a craft, if I'm being really bluntly honest. About, you know, in Europe they take it as a craft. It's almost like an artisanal thing of, you know, this is a tool to create these packages. Where here it's kind of more down and dirty and 24 hours a day and go, and you know the machine is just a tool in the toolbox, and it's not necessarily treated with the same touch, I would say. So we as manufacturers have to make sure that we can handle all of that. It's robust enough to just kind of forced through in a factory environment, whereas Europe, I think it's more of a craft, I would say.
But it's funny because I mean, with your new position as handling all about the service business from BOBST, it's like, I mean, then also the service of what people will expect is probably a little bit different, right?
Sure, yeah, I mean, we have a very large service footprint, so the expectation is rapid response, whether that's remote, which is obviously with BOBST Connect, we're trying to get into remote so we can be more places. You know, if you look at the classic case of troubleshooting, right? So remote service, where without the remote service, there's an issue on the machine, they call BOBST, we got to get somebody in a plane, in a car, travel there, diagnose, troubleshoot, order parts, you know, all that. Where now effectively we can do that all online. And even if it's a mechanical issue, then we can order the parts, we can do the troubleshooting remotely, get the technician and the parts going at the same time.
And I was just thinking, sorry to interrupt you, but I was just thinking that, you know, we have for years been talking about Industry 4.0 and IoT. What we really see with BOBST Connect and also some of your competitors in the market is that IoT is now really stepping up to becoming a tool that increases the productivity.
It's mandatory.
Have preventive
Absolutely.
maintenance and all these kinds
of
things.
It's not a nice to have anymore. It's mandatory. I mean, it's one of these things where if you want to reach, you know, true productivity levels and keep up with your competition, it's a must-have. I mean, just the, like you were saying, the informed decision-making, the data that we can collect off the machines, the way we can utilize that to set schedules, to maintain machines, to predict issues, to send and receive jobs. I mean, this is all stuff that was manual, and every day we have more of these, you know, IoT capabilities. So, you know, everybody throws around AI buzzwords and stuff like that.
But so, you do it.
Yeah. Today we're doing like the behind-the-scenes AI, you know, big data set sorting, and, you know, not necessarily the forward-facing stuff where you hit a button and magic happens. You know, that's where we're ultimately trying to get to. It just takes a ton of data to set that so that we can start to recognize these trends and patterns, and we can start to learn to say, okay, we've seen this X number of cases before, now we know what's going to happen after we've seen that. So that's where we're really trying to get to. So it is full on, it's baked into every product and service that we offer now, is to get to that next step of connectivity and digitalization.
I guess also that, I mean, everybody continues to talk about the difficulties of getting qualified labor. So one thing is that you can get all the machines more productive, but you can also automate a higher level so you can have fewer people on the machines, right?
Sure, automation is a key. Even a step before that is just machine ergonomics. You know, with the computer screens, you can learn a lot there where you don't have to necessarily know all of that. The machine will tell you what's the problem, right? So the diagnostic systems on the machine. So if we start there, just, you know, we would love to have nice trained operators that the customers have full time to really maturely go through a full training program of starting from the basics, but unfortunately that's not the case today. They need an operator. Okay, you on the machine, you get a couple days training with the last guy that ran the machine, and then you're in production. So ergonomics can help that, but obviously automation and things like that, just pure resource alone, if we can automate a process, then yeah, that's obviously a huge benefit for the customers as well.
I think it was a Drupal that Jean-Pascal BOBST said that BOBST is actually also becoming like a software company.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's a big departure from the mindset of, I mean, we're a classic machine builder. Yeah. Today, it's a solutions provider, right? And so the way that we provide a lot of those solutions is via software. So, I mean, he's not wrong when he says we're providing software for sure. So we're getting away from the just tons of steel doing a thing. I mean, now we're trying to solve problems and offer solutions.
Can't help think about when we talk about the solution kind of thing. It's like your role. It must be a really interesting point, because one thing is that you get a lot of data from the IoT, but you also get a lot of data from your colleagues but also visiting converters. Sure. And then you have to turn that into both a service scheme, but you also have to give feedback to the R&D for the future machines, right? That must be really interesting.
Yeah, spot. It is. So I've been in the IoT side now, because my former role, I guess technically current role until for the next 2 months. So as service manager, I have the whole portfolio. So whether these are maintenance services or warranty services, then obviously we had e-services at the time, and it was just one of the aspects, right? So now the last 5-6 years has been such a push towards IoT. That's really been the full focus. And then when Connect came in July of 2022, it was full focus on Connect and IoT. So now to kind of get back to, let's say, my roots of where I started and everything like that. So now I'm excited to, be a little bit more in my comfort zone. I mean, I'm not an IoT guy. I'm not a network engineer. I understand from the customer standpoint. I mean, I've had 25 years on factory floors, so I understand the manufacturing process and the stresses and the needs and the, how a department or how a factory has to function, and the data that they need and the tools that they need and the organization that they need. So now to be in a position where I can influence that in our product range and our offerings, and have it based off of my 20 years of experience on those floors, that's exciting, because I feel like I'm kind of back in my wheelhouse, if you want to say that.
And have you already started planning what kind of changes you see within the organization?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is I'm coming into a good situation. I just need to grow it more. It's not a sinking ship where I have to get this,
for sure.
Make changes
I
across
guess
the
that
board.
Most people have seen the financial results of BOBST, so
Sure.
you're pretty safe, right?
Yeah, we're sure. We're safe. So as I learn kind of the next step up and of the business of it all, where I can come in today and offer solutions is, we have products. It's the go-to-market that I'm familiar with. So, if we've done, let's say, 90% of the work, we've got this great new product, this great new service, but how do we get it into the hands of our customers? It's that day-to-day stuff where, sometimes we're a victim of, okay, we've done the big stuff, then the rest of it it'll sort itself out. And in some cases that's true, and in some cases it's not true. So I can see that, okay, how do we train our staff to be able to relay that value? How are they teaching the customer? So it's really that, kind of ground up type thing. As I learn the top down, I'm going to be focusing on the ground up, just see those details, just to make a smoother transition. I mean, we all like to say, okay, it's not rocket science that when a customer buys something, it's supposed to do what they bought it for, right? So, so it's that type of stuff where I'm going to make sure that those lines, those processes are in place, so that we have a smooth transition from, hey, that's a great product, I think I want that, so to ship it on time, to invoice it correctly, and then of course it does what it needs to do, and then we have the support. So for me, that's where I'm starting, is to make sure we kind of fine tune those processes as I take the time to learn kind of the bigger picture stuff.
2 last questions, and they are a little bit tied together. When I look at BOBST Connect, and also look at your, let's say, the chips that you have in your tooling, things like that, it seems to me that it's very, very productive, but it also seems that you are also positively meant making an ecosystem that makes it very attractive to stay a BOBST customer. So that is like the first question. Second is aligned with, because how is the competitive situation on the service level and things like that? Is that something that you have in mind as well, or?
Yeah, I mean, the issue with tooling specifically is we know that customers sometimes they have tens of thousands of tool sets, right? I mean, it's not something that we can just, snap your fingers and now they're all ready. So it's a process. So we need to kind of walk them through that. And yes, we want that to be, kind of between BOBST, the converter, and the die maker, that kind of triangle.
Great example here,
Yeah.
by the way, because we are here in the Express die that is part of your.
So this is a great scenario. It's a great microcosm of the real world. So yes, I mean, a good side effect is that relationship should continue. If everybody's kind of doing their part, then it's a win-win-win if everything goes according to plan, right? So, and then the benefits should speak for themselves. We'd like the converters to be using the tools. The die maker will have that instant feedback. If they want to make a change like a rule type or a rubber or something like that, they can make those changes and they can see the live results. So they can say, okay, I made that change and it improved. So then I can use that for my other customers, or I know that the next time they order that die or that tool set, what worked there, we can put here.
So the data that you collect can basically also go back to your, let's say, certified die makers,
Yes.
because then it can improve their productivity as well.
100%. So we support them greatly. So once you're kind of into the program and certified, you have a whole host of benefits, just to really speed up the process, get that level, so we know that the quality coming out of these die makers is top notch, is world class, and that just sets everybody up for success down the line.
Fantastic. Goodbye and safe trip to Europe. And,
Thank you.
Really nice talking to you. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you for coming.